a playoff in the Pacific Northwest.
Great afternoon to play a New Year's Eve football game.
Another playoff game, baby, another playoff game. Both teams, too. Ain't no better environment than this, neither.
The one-and-done mindset now lives with the Steelers, clinging to hopes of the postseason.
We built it up all week on what kind of day it's going to be, so now we put it out there for everybody to see.
For the Steelers, the game would be the chance to win in Seattle for the first time since 1983.
Set your pass today. We controlled it up front, man. If we're going to win this game, it's because of us.
As the journey comes to a close, those who wish to continue must seize every opportunity.
Here we go.
This pass is caught and that's a touchdown.
That's the way to work. Come on.
He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game.
Let's go. Come get it. You know what it is.
This one is in the history books.
Here we go.
Welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. I'm Missy Matthews. The Steelers' offense was challenged by Coach Tomlin to run the ball effectively against the Seahawks, given the hostile environment at Lumen Field. Well, they did that and much more en route to another 30-point game, and that's why I'm holding this. Running back Najee Harris won the Angry Run segment on Good Morning Football for Week 17. They sent him the scepter to take a picture and send it back to feature on TV, but instead, Najee gave it to his offensive line and tight ends that helped him and Jaylen Warren find the end zone 3 times. For more on the Steelers' first win in Seattle since 1983, let's send it over to Bob Pompeani and Coach Tomlin. Guys.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. Happy New Year, everyone. The Steelers have come through with a gift on Christmas and now New Year's, 2 wins in a row, and it sets up another must-win situation coming up on Sunday. Before we get to that, head coach Mike Tomlin is here, and you had to be pleased with that overall effort, specifically because it was line up, and we're going to run it, and you may not stop us despite the fact we're going to run it on most downs, and you had 46 rushes for 202 yards. That says a lot about your team, doesn't it?
It was the appropriate approach to take, particularly given the environment. Seattle's a tough place to play. The crowd noise, you get behind the chains in that environment. You get one-dimensional in that environment from a passing perspective. You could drown in it. And so it was an agenda of ours to run the ball and to run the ball effectively enough to stay on schedule and to run it effectively enough where we weren't in one-dimensional passing circumstances like 3rd and long. And thankfully, we were able to do those things.
Talk about your 1-2 punch now at running back. You've relied on them both all year. Is this a case, Coach, where maybe less is more in the sense that you normally are a bell cow kind of running back, but these two guys have roles and they seem to play off one another very well.
We have 2 very capable runners, and so when we got 2, we're going to utilize them, and that's kind of been our mindset. And really it's about the development of Jaylen. I'd imagine that Naj is a known commodity, but Jaylen showed some signs of what he's done this year, last year, but I think he really took off from a consistency standpoint during training camp and in the preseason. And so we just feel really comfortable about both guys. We feel comfortable about both guys running the football. We feel comfortable about both guys in blitz pickup and in the passing game. And so it really adds an added dimension when we can call on both and both fluidly.
Over the years, you've seen some very good stiff arms. The one that Vance McDonald in Tampa sticks out. And what does that mean to a team when you see it on the sidelines and your players react to it? And there were some good ones in that game.
You know, it's just emotion around physical play and tackle breaking, the mano-a-mano component of tackle breaking, particularly when you're turning short to long, is an exciting thing in game for guys. And we had several of those. Naj and Jaylen did a nice job of warding off would-be tacklers with their free arm, but that's not something that we stumble into. We work that routinely. Those are skills relative to their position. Coach Folk and that group work freehand drill work daily.
All right, let's talk about Mason Rudolph. He'll be your starter once again, and boy, two games. The poise in the pocket is what stands out to me.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job. A couple things have transpired since he's been in the lineup, and there's a reason why he's still in the lineup. He and we have taken care of the football, and we haven't turned it over. And secondarily, man, we're scoring touchdowns. We're producing points. 3 of those were via the ground last week, but points nonetheless. We better be prepared to score some points.
What is it about the deep throw? What components go into it as a quarterback, and why does he seem to have those components?
It's arm talent. It's the ability, distance, trajectory, a feel for receivers, rapport with receivers, the ability to look off and hold deep defenders, deep half-field players, deep middle of the field players. There are a lot of components to it, but I'd imagine anybody that's good at it, they don't view it in that way. It's like breathing for them. I'd imagine Mason has been a good deep ball thrower all his life.
The one that was a big one, you guys had the ball, I think they were expecting run, and you went right down the field to George Pickens. That's just confidence that you have in Mason and Pickens combined in that situation?
You know, it's more of a business model, to be quite honest with you. We got to aggressively pursue victory. And in those one-dimensional circumstances where people think you're running the ball out, sometimes it behooves you to take the low-hanging fruit. They had just about every defender within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. They went one-on-one in a one-on-one matchup on the perimeter. And so that's what it's about more than anything, not allowing people to cheat, to overplay one component of your game, to take the calculated risks associated with aggressively pursuing victory. And it's more about a mode of operation than anything else. You
guys have been hit hard with injury, especially in your inside defense, the inside linebacker, the safety position, and yet you've come out and you have the bend but don't break mentality. How proud are you of the way these guys have responded? Because a lot of them haven't been here until middle of the season and beyond.
Really thankful for the efforts and contributions that we've gotten from a lot of people. Most recently, Miles Jack and Eric Rowe. Talking about a couple of guys that we've elevated the last 2 weeks. Hadn't been here very long this season and hadn't been members of the active roster. And so what work they've gotten has been kind of on scout team defense and learning things when given an opportunity. And so to play the amount that they've played and to be as productive as they've been is really a credit to them. It's really one of the reasons why we pursued them and brought them into the program, because we knew that they were veteran guys that know how to play and could probably be quick studies if called upon, and they've proven that to be true.
One other thing, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about Nick Herbig, who had sort of the hat trick, strip sack, forced fumble, recovered fumble. Every time he's in there, he seems to make a play. Is there some attitude about him, being, he wasn't a first-round pick, sort of like Jaylen Warren, coming have to prove it, have that chip on your shoulder mentality?
He's a football lover. He's everybody's favorite little brother. It probably helps him that he's a Wisconsin grad. TJ talks to him a little bit. But he's got some rush skills. He's got a desire to get better. He works hard every day. And I think what you're seeing is just the fruit of that labor, not only in terms of it producing opportunity, but he doing something with those opportunities. And it's reasonable to expect that to continue. It's about the growth and maturation of young players and the development of them over the course of this journey.
Well, the Steelers hope to continue the winning ways. It won't be easy, though, going to Baltimore on Saturday at 4:30. When we come back, head coach Mike Tomlin will talk about the Ravens, who have the #1 seed in the AFC. Missy, let's send it back to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Bob. And since losing in Pittsburgh Week 5 to the Steelers, the Ravens have gone 10-1 and have the NFL's best record at 13-3. They're resting Lamar Jackson this week after clinching the 1 seed, so Tyler Huntley will be QB1. Here's how the Steelers can join the Ravens in the postseason. They need to beat Baltimore and have either Buffalo or Jacksonville lose their final game. There is an outside chance if they don't win on Saturday, they can still get in with a Jags loss, Broncos win, and if the Texans and Colts don't end in a tie. Safe to say everyone will be closely watching all of the other games on Sunday. The 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show will be right back.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
If you feel like you've seen this movie before, you're not wrong. Just like last season, the Steelers head to Baltimore needing to win in their final regular season road game and also getting some help in Week 18. The good news for Pittsburgh, though, is they've won their last 3 trips to Maryland, and they're also 13-3 under Coach Tomlin in regular season finales. For more on what to expect on Saturday, let's send it back to Bob and Coach. Guys.
Missy, thanks very much. Ravens, Steelers. That's the way the NFL wants it. Final game of the regular season carries significance, of course. Steelers go down to Baltimore Saturday at 4:30. And Coach, you guys know each other very well. No secrets pretty much here, but I just want to get your overall take of Lamar Jackson. Specifically the last 2 weeks. I guess if you're looking at MVP of the league, he's probably the leading candidate based on how he played against San Francisco and this past week against Miami. What has he done this year that has taken him to a new level, it seems, in his performance?
You know, he's making good and timely decisions with the football. The prudent use of his run talent can't be overstated. He's over 800 yards or so rushing, but he does it in such a efficient and prudent way. It is a dagger for defenses. He does a good job of building rapport with a multitude of receivers. He's got a young receiver in Zay Flowers, and I think that relationship has just grown over the course of the season, and I'm sure he's getting familiar with Odell Beckham in a similar way. He's done a nice job of adjusting to losing Mark Andrews, which is his draft class mate, has been there with him the whole time, and the nature of their relationship is a special one. And it's been really impressive to see the relationship that he's developed with Likely as a Mark Andrews replacement in recent weeks. Likely had a big play last week, but really, since Mark Andrews has gone down, Likely has caught 4 or 5 balls in just about every game. It's been a significant component of what they've done. And so I just think you're looking at a guy, man, that's in the prime of his career. He's on top of his game physically and mentally. He's doing a good job of building relationships with new weapons and increasingly so over the course of the season and finding the rhythm that you desire. He's doing a really good job, and they're doing a really good job.
You're familiar with Tyler Huntley also, a guy who's had some success in the league when he's gotten in there as a backup.
A guy that's played a lot. You know, Lamar's missed some time in recent years, and he's gained valuable experience. We've played against him in stadium, and so I'm sure he'll be more than ready and more than willing to show his talents.
The running game down there has suffered some injuries. Dobbins early in the season, the rookie Mitchell, but they still have 2 guys you're very familiar with in Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, and they even have a guy they brought in who used to be one of the best in the game as a third-string guy now. Their run game remains the same.
No question, and you better respect play fakes and nakeds and things of that nature, that it adds an added dimension, an added challenge. Taking nothing away from Gus Edwards, who's running really hard and well, and Justice Hill, same thing. But when you deal with the quarterback component of it, there's one less guy pursuing the football. There's one less guy getting to the football, but it also makes it really exciting.
Now, you guys know each other's physical team, both of you. What has Roquan Smith meant to them since they acquired him?
Man, they have a formidable tandem. They got 2 linebackers with he and Patrick Queen that are good in all circumstances. They're good versus the run, downhill run, perimeter runs. The passing game is coverage people. The passing game is blitzers. They have their men in the middle, hubs of communication. They adjust very well and fluidly to offensive formation structure, pre-snap shifts and motions, etc. They got 2 veteran players there that are quality players that allow their unit to play in a certain way because of how steady and productive they are.
All right, it's a big game. It comes up on Saturday, 4:30 kickoff, Steelers and Ravens. The only game in town on Saturday, that time of the day. A lot on the line. We'll talk about the keys to the game coming up with head coach Mike Tomlin in just a bit. Missy, back to you.
And to pull out that 3rd straight victory, Bob, it's safe to say that TJ Watt will play a major role. Number 90 is tied for first in the NFL with 17 sacks and was voted as this year's team MVP. This marks the 4th time in his 7-year career, tying him with Antonio Brown for the most by a Steelers player. Watt was also named to his 6th Pro Bowl, along with Minkah Fitzpatrick and Miles Killebrew. This marks the 4th time for Minkah and 1st time for Miles. Coming up next, go behind the win in Seattle with some of the best mic'd up moments with Mike Tomlin. Now it's time for this week's Yins Chat trivia question. Which year did Ben Roethlisberger throw for 500-plus yards in a game versus Baltimore? 2014 or 2017? We'll tell you after the break.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Your Yins Chat trivia answer is Week 14 during the 2017 season at Heinz Field. Each week, answer Steelers trivia and make game day picks for a chance to win signed helmets, jerseys, footballs, or even a trip to the 2024 NFL Draft. Answer the day's questions correctly and get double the points. Just log into the Steelers mobile app now and play for a chance at this week's prize, an autographed TJ Watt jersey. The win in Seattle secured the Steelers' 20th consecutive season with a 500 or better record, which is the second longest streak in NFL history. It also means that Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season as the team's head coach. Earlier this week, TJ Watt credited Coach Tomlin with taking the Steelers from a 3-game losing streak to hopefully winning their final 3. Here's an inside look at what Coach Tomlin is like on the sidelines.
Let's go! Let's go!
Billy, I'm looking at a ton of Steeler fans out here. Black and gold everywhere, my friend.
Steeler Nation out today. All right, 2, let's go. All right, hey, Rob, let's get it. Move, let's go.
Under center, Rudolph hands it off. Through a hole comes Jaylen Warren inside the 10, the 5. Touchdown! Jaylen Warren. That is his 4th of the year, and he does it from 18 yards out.
That's what's up. Run that through the red zone. All right. Running it. Running it. Running it. Running it through the red zone. Let's go. Hey, way to go. Way to go. Way to go.
Rudolph under center. Toss to the left. Najee cuts it inside a block. Still on his feet at the 40. Breaks the tackle. Still on his feet at the 30. And he's inside the 25. Down to about the 23-yard line.
Yeah! 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 Let's go! That's it! That's it! Way to go! Hey, that's the way to carry that run game fight.
The give to Najee, sidesteps a man, finds his way inside the 5, grinds out to the 1-yard line.
Touchdown! Touchdown! Yeah!
Running touchdown!
Yeah!
Najee has it, and he got in from 9 yards out.
Run that through the red zone.
Shotgun snap, play action fake. Rudolph back, throws that pass. Wide open as Deontay Johnson turns it to 25, the 20, the 15, the 10. Hit from behind and down at the 4-yard line. He was wide open in the middle of the field, and spotting him perfectly was Mason Rudolph.
Way to get back toward the middle of the field. Way to go.
It's Najee into the middle of the line, and the pile moves grudgingly, but
Push
goes
it.
forward, down to the goal line. What are they going to call?
That's a touchdown.
They call touchdown. I was afraid they'd stop a forward progress, but guess what? It never stopped.
That was no brotherly shove. That was a rugby scrum.
Smith is back. He looks, he sets up. He's hit, and he's sacked. Did the ball come out?
He got it. He got it. Sack fumble.
Nick Herbert, and he's got that football.
Lil Herbert. Lil Herbert. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We ain't gonna play scared. Rhythm pass. They're gonna load the box. We're gonna rhythm pass and play to win.
Pittsburgh leading this contest 30-23. Rudolph in the shotgun. He wants to throw it, and he does, and Pickens has it. First down, 30, away at the 20, and now tackled from behind at the 20-yard line. Throwing the ball in a situation where you probably bet $150,000 that they'd run it.
Man, I can't tell you what confidence it takes to throw that ball with 2 minutes to go.
Much respect, brother. Thank you, man. All the best to you. Yep.
Saturday will mark the 35th meeting between Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh, including the postseason. Through 34 games, Coach Tomlin has a 19-15 edge in the rivalry, and his Steelers have won 6 of the last 7 games between these two teams. It's time now for your keys to the game presented by your neighborhood Ford store. Here's Bob and Coach.
Missy, thanks very much. Baltimore Ravens. That's all you need to say in this rivalry. You beat them once earlier this year. What is it going to take this time, especially knowing that it is a must-win for your team?
You know, I saw what Patrick Queen said a couple weeks ago that a lot of people are unwilling to play their style of ball. And he's right. But I think that's just our style. And I think that's why everybody likes the nature of this matchup. That's why it's so entertaining. We do play a similar style of ball. styles do make fights, as they say in boxing. And so it's going to be a challenge, no question. But we better be prepared to play 60 minutes. We better make enough plays initially to kind of quell the crowd, the hostility of the crowd, if you will. We better not be in one-dimensional circumstances. They're going to feast on those things. We better keep a lid on it. We better make them earn it on offense. We can't allow them to have field-flipping plays or easy point-producing plays. Those are just some of the things that kind of shape the texture of this relationship in the past, and I'd imagine will do so in this game. We got to be prepared for 60 minutes. It's going to be rock'em, sock'em robots. It's Steelers Ravens.
It always is.
Yep.
One component of their game that's really, I think, surfaced here is their kick return and their just return team in general. They come up with plays there, and last week they had another one of those in a kickoff return fashion. That can change complexion of any game, but I imagine in this one it's very important to keep.
It's always been a component of our matchup. We were up on them last year, late in the game, and Justice Hill had a significant kickoff return to about midfield that kind of put some angst in how that game ended. And so they've always been a formidable bunch from a special teams perspective. Harbs' background is in special teams. Tucker, can't say enough about him in terms of the edge that he gives you from a field positioning standpoint with his range and his kickoff abilities. And so no question that's a big component of play for us in this matchup.
Coach, all the best. Look forward to it.
Thank you.
It's the final regular season game of the season. Hopefully it's not the final one. The Steelers need to go there and win and then get a little help on Sunday. But first things first, a win against the Ravens on Saturday. That's going to do it for our program. Thanks for joining us. For Missy Matthews and head coach Mike Tomlin, I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for watching the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.